Good morning, dear students. Yes, in the previous class, I have taught you about the contributions of Rajput. Yes, so there are so many great poetic works is there. For example, Jayadeva's Geet Govinda and Bharvi's Kiratarjuniya, Bhartruhari's Ravanavada, Mahendrapala's Kavya Mimamse. These are the some important works which were written during the rule of Rajputs. And there are so many dramas. It's like Rajasekhara's Bala Ramayana and Karpura Manjari, Bhavabhutis, Mahavira Charita and Uttarama Charita. And also there is historical works like Kalhanana's Rajatarangini, Jainika's Prithviraj Vijaya and Hemachandra's Kumarpala Charita. And also some biography of Rajput rulers is also there. So Prithviraj Raso by Chand Bardais and Bhoja Prabandha by Pallala. So these are the some important biographies of Rajput rulers, and they also gave some contribution towards the architecture field. For example, they have constructed spacious forts in Chittor, Mandu, Ranthambore, Jodhpur and Gwalior. So among them, Jaipur, Gwalior and Udaipur are the famous. Okay, so Dilwara temple, Vimala temple and Lonavasai temples were also built in the Mount Abu. So these are the some important contributions of the Rajputs. So let us see the arrival of Turks. Is by defeating the small kingdoms of Rajput kings, Turks built their empire in the subsequent years. And the establishment of Turks' rule, whose religion was Islam, it was not completely unexpected. And Arab had made failed attempts to capture Sindh region from the beginning of 8th century. Yes, so Arab, they had made failed attempts to capture Sindh region. Yes, they want to occupy Sindh region, but that all attempts all cancelled. Yes, so still Sindh region was always under the constant threat of Turks' attack. Yes, and the Turk, they belong to a nomadic tribe of Mongolia. Yes, so where is Mongolia? So it is a central part of Asia. Yes, and they had accepted Islam religion. Yes, so Alaptagin, who belonged to this tribe, and he established his independent state in 963 Common Era at Ghazni region of Afghanistan. Yes, so Alaptagin, so he was a Islam tribe person. Yes, and he established his independent state in the year 963 Common Era in the Ghazni region of Afghanistan. And the battles between Turks and Rajput started from his period only. So let us see the important king. His name is Muhammad Ghazni. Yes. So Ghazni ascended throne after Alaptagin in 999 Common Era. Yes, after the Alaptagin, Ghazni came to power in the year 999, and Muhammad Ghazni invaded India 17 times. Yes, so Muhammad Ghazni is very important sultan, and he invaded India for 17 times. Yes, and the famous Somnatha temple. Yes, you can observe here the picture of Muhammad Ghazni. Yes, and the famous Somanatha temple. Yes, and the temples of Saurashtra were destroyed during his inventions. Yes, among them Somanatha temple of Saurashtra, that is in Gujarat. So it is a very famous temple during that time, and these all temples were destroyed during his inventions, though all the Rajput kingdoms of the western India was battered by these invasions. They failed to face Turks with unity. Yes. So Rajput kings, they are very braver kings. Yes, although they could not they could not stop the inventions of the Muhammad Ghori. Yes, and Muhammad succeeded in his inventions due to the political and military weakness of Rajput. Yes, so because Rajput kings, they are very weak in the political and military administration. Hence, he is succeeded in his all inventions. And Muhammad invented 17 times and carried away enormous amount of golden ornaments and wealth to Ghazni. Yes. So, what are the important aims of his invention to the India? Yes. So, his main aim is he want to all the wealth of the India, and he carried that all ornaments and gold to his country, that is Ghazni. Though he did not build empire in India, his inventions showed the way to future Turk inventions into India. Yes, so he did not establish the empire in India. Yes, his aim is only for the looting of India. Yes, so similarly, the failure of Rajput, who had become weak with internal rivalries, also got displayed. So this is all about Muhammad Ghazni. So let us see Muhammad Ghori. A Turk dynasty of Shansabani of Ghor region of Afghanistan came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. Yes, so Turk dynasty of Shansabani of Ghor region of Afghanistan came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. Yes, and Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor of this dynasty ascended the throne. Yes, so Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor, he came to power and he sent his younger brother, his name is Mujahiddin Muhammad, to establish the Turk rule in India. Yes, after the Muhammad Ghazni, Ghiyasuddin Muhammad, who came to power, and he sent his younger brother, his name is Mujahiddin Muhammad. Yes, and he is called as a Muhammad Ghori by the historians. Yes, so Mujahiddin Muhammad, he is called as a Muhammad Ghori by the historians, and he started his first invention by besieging Multan. Yes, so he started his first invention by seizing Multan region, and he wanted to recapture the places of Sindh that were under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni. Yes, so Muhammad Ghori, he wanted to recapture all the regions which are under the Muhammad Ghazni, and he invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and got defeated there. Yes, and also this defeat made Muhammad to change his plan, and he attacked Peshawar and conquered it. Yes, so Anilwada of Gujarat, when he defeated in that war, so he changed his all plans and attacked once again on the Peshawar, and he conquered the Peshawar, and then Khusro Malik of Lahore surrendered to him. Yes, and by keeping Lahore as his center, Muhammad attacked the plains of India, and this attack was naturally resisted by the ruler of Delhi. Yes, when he attacked on the India, that is Delhi, so Prithviraj Chauhan III, he resisted the attacks of Muhammad Ghori. Yes, and defeated Muhammad at Tarain in 1191 Common Era. Yes, when he took attack on the India, so Prithviraj Chauhan, yes, is a ruler of Delhi, so he resisted his region and defeated Muhammad at Tarain in 1191 Common Era. So Muhammad, he returned to Ghor and again faced Prithviraj Chauhan at Tarain in 1192 Common Era. So when he defeated in the year 1191, he returned to his empire, that is Ghor, and once again he came to next year at the Tarayana in 1192 Common Era, and this time he had made a lot of preparations. Yes, in the previous battle he defeated by the Prithviraj Chauhan, and in the next year, that is in the 1192 Common Era, he made a lot of preparations, and in this battle the archers of Turks succeeded. Yes, and the quicker cavalry of Turks displaced the Rajput army with slow moving elephants. Yes, the Turk army, they have a cavalry. Yes, but the Rajput have elephants. Yes, so therefore they can't move very fastly. Yes, and Govindrao and the Bhola, who were instrumental in the Rajput victory during the first Tarayan battle, were killed. Yes, so there were two instrumental. So their name is Govindrao and Bhola. They were killed in this battle. Prithviraj Chauhan was imprisoned. Prithviraj continued to rule for a while after his surrender. Yes, Muhammad appointed his slaves to take care of the areas won by him in India, and he got murdered on his way back to Ghori. Yes, so Prithviraj, he continued to rule for a while after his surrender, and Muhammad appointed his slaves to take care of the areas won by India. Yes, and he got murdered while he is going to his region, that is Ghori. So let us see political implications. The victory of Ghori had many major political implications. Yes, the victory of Ghori, it leads to many changes in the political administration. Yes, the political system consisting of small kingdoms vanished. Yes, the previous time there are small kingdoms, but when political implication came into existence, that all small kingdoms vanished, and a centralized rule of Sultan who had immense power at Delhi came into existence. Yes, so thereafter a centralized administration types, it will become into existence, and all power within the Sultan. Yes, and as a result the entire northern India came under one rule after Harsha. Yes, so thereafter the entire northern India came under one ruler, his name is Harsha, and the system of administration was different from Rajput. Yes, the political administration system, it is totally changed if you compare to the Rajput, and the sultans had the absolute power, either appointing or dismissing all officials. Yes, Sultan, he has all powers, he can appoint or he can dismiss the officials also, and the military administration was also clearly unlike the previous one. Yes, so the military administration, it is also totally changed. Yes, and soldiers were appointed directly by the sultans. Yes, the appointing authority of the soldiers, it goes to the sultan only, and soldiers remain loyal directly to the sultan himself. So every soldiers, they have to be loyal sultan only. Yes, and with the establishment of the rule of sultans, India got reconnected with the outer world, which had remained cut off from 8th century onward. Yes, so this is all about the arrival of Turks. So I hope all of you understood this, and there is a small video that is related to the Muhammad Ghazni, and watch that video. Thank you for watching video, and be safe.
Mahmud Ghaznavi was born in 971 AD in Khorasan. Mahmud Ghazni was the son of Arbu Mansa Buktagam, who was a Turkish slave soldier of the Samanid ruler. In 994 Mahmud joined his father in the conquest of Ghazni for Samanid ruler. It was the time of instability for Samanid Empire. In 998 AD Mahmud took control of the Ghazni and also conquered Kandahar. In 1001 AD he started his military companies which were lasted before his death in 1030 AD. Muhammad's campaigns seem to have been motivated by religious zeal against both the Fatimids Shiites and non-Muslims Buddhists, Jains and Hindus. Mahmud of Ghazni was one of the undefeatable military commanders of the world. He attacked South Asia 17 times successfully and went back to Ghazni every time with a great victory. He fought against the forces of Jaipal Anidpal Tanu Chalpal Krimta and the joint forces of Hindu Rajas and Maharajas, but all of them were forced to flee away from the battlefield due to Mahmud's war strategy as a general. The military campaigns of Mahmud Ghaznavi made him controversial personality in the history of South Asia. Mahmud of Ghazni destroyed important Hindu shrine Krishna Janmabhoomi temple known as Kesavadeo temple in 1017 AD along with several other Hindu and Buddhist temples in the holy city of Mathura. Mahmud of Ghazni destroyed and looted one of the most sacred temples of Hindus, Somnath temple in 1025 AD, killing over 50,000 people who tried to defend it. Due to this, Mahmud Ghaznavi is considered as a looter and plunderer by the most of the non-Muslims of South Asia. Mahmud of Ghazni became the sign of respect and bravery for South Asian Muslim and is considered as their hero. Mahmud weakened the power of the neighboring rulers as they could not attack over the newly established Muslim state. The booty of war was used to consolidate the power of the state. After the conquest of Multan and Lahore, Mahmud made Punjab a part of his empire in 1021. He also established his provincial headquarters at Lahore. Ghazni and Lahore became the center of learning and culture. Thus Mahmud established a strong Muslim empire which was lasted for hundreds of years. He also exposed the weakness of Hindu Rajas which enabled the Muslim leaders to conquer India in future. These all made him the hero for the Muslims of South Asia. Mahmud of Ghazni was a great patron of learning. Al-Biruni, the scholar and scientist, were associated with his court. Ghazni became one of the most important and beautiful cities of the Islamic world. Lahore also became a great center of learning and culture. Mahmud was also a deeply religious man. He himself wrote a book on fiqh. Mahmud Ghaznavi died on April 30, 1030 AD. His mausoleum is located in Ghazni, Afghanistan.